again. If you don't know this, I am a big nerd. And one of the ways that nerdiness expresses itself is through my favorite game in the entire world, Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons regularly for 2.5 years now, and in that time I've been playing as my character, Aphiel Shieldheart. I thought it would be fun to bring her to life a little bit and do a lookbook on Royalcore Knightcore fashion in the spirit of Aphiel. I have a few different categories of outfits that I'm going to use to guide my fashion journey, and that is her more casual wear, stuff I envision her getting into a fight in, and a bit more noble, fancy attire to reflect her noble birth. Of course, Royalcore and Knightcore are more of an influenced idea of how I take these ideas into my brain. They're not supposed to be representational of a certain time period. Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy world, as much as I wish it wasn't. But to begin with, so you have an idea of what I'm basing this Knightcore lookbook on, I will let you know a little bit more about my girl Aphiel. Aphiel is a human fighter with an Eldritch Knight subclass, which means she's able to use a bit of magic alongside her rough and tumble melee attacks. I've drawn a little picture of her, which you can see at the beginning of my D&D notebook here. Now, when my friends and I originally started playing, this was based off of the Dungeons and Dragons starter kit, where they do have some pre-built characters for you to put your own spin on. So some of Aphiel's story, if you're familiar with the pre-built characters, might sound a little bit familiar, but over the years, Aphiel has really evolved past that basic starter sheet and has become a fully fledged character of her own and of my own. I was born an only child to noble parents in a large estate on the Sword Coast. However, I remember almost nothing of my life in the keep. Natural disaster destroyed my ancestral home, wiping out the land that I was to inherit, making my title almost meaningless. It happened when I was so young, it's not even a tangible memory, only a story I know that I'm a part of. In the fray of the accident, my father brought me to safety while my mother disappeared to an unknown fate, presumably dead. In the aftermath, my father moved us to Waterdeep, where we lived modestly but comfortably. I know almost nothing of my mother, as my father finds it too painful to speak about even to this day. So with Aphiel, there's elements of fantasy, there's elements of knighthood, there's elements of nobility. So now that we know a little bit more about my girl Aphiel, let's get into the outfits. The first category for her outfits are what I picture her wearing in a more casual setting. This first casual outfit, I'm envisioning a casual look that's almost a state of partial undress, as if Aphiel was practicing some sword fighting and has now taken off her heavier, more protective armor to now realize a casual underlayer of more comfortable clothes. In this outfit, I've taken an oversized men's shirt and tucked it into a pair of high-waisted tapered trousers. I've also added a corset-inspired belt and tuck that into the trousers as well to sort of give that underwear as outerwear type feel. I just feel really confident and powerful in this look, and I think it embodies Aphiel perfectly. Next up for this category, I am picturing this as an outfit that Aphiel would wear in a traditional Dungeons and Dragons inn. For this outfit, I'm taking more deconstructed ideas of a knight's outfit. I sort of wanted a tunic type look. It's a little bit more dressed up than the previous look. I've also added a corset on top just to give it a bit more structure and play into those fantasy elements just a little bit more. To play into these ideas, I've paired a very simple tapered dress and layered that with a blouse underneath to get a more fantasy shaped sleeve. I feel like the corset adds a bit of structure, though I don't think it's the best pairing in the world. Ideally, I would have something a little bit bolder, but overall, I think it's a pretty cute look. The next category is Aphiel in a fight. Outfits more inspired by the fighting attire, armor, knighthood type look. For this first outfit, I am taking inspiration from mainly leather armor. Obviously, I'm not donning a full armor set because despite how much I've been lusting over these Arm Street full suits of armor, they are over $3,000. And I certainly don't have that kind of money to spend on fully functioning plate armor. So for this look, I'm pairing some separate pieces that will give me the general vibe of a suit of armor. What was that thing on TikTok? No matter who you are, your type is women in armor.
I think this definitely has to be my favorite look from the bunch. I've paired sort of a tattered linen shirt with some high-waisted trousers, and I've layered a leather bodice on top. It really makes me feel like I'm out of a fantasy novel and I am feeling like the main character.
For this next look, I wanted to, I guess, a bit more closely replicate, oh gosh, what is the name of the overdress type thing? Like the quilted layer. I feel like in the traditional armor sets I am basing this look off of, I really notice a lot of layering. So I'm taking some pieces that I think will portray this look in more of a casual way.
This look I think reads really classical medieval tunic. The underdress is a medieval style chemise. That was actually my first sewing project ever, but it's great for layering, and I think with this like quilted dress layered on top, it really pulls the look together.
And now it is the final category of a more traditional Royalcore type look. This first look is what I envision Aphiel wearing when she needs to present herself as a noble in various courts. Now, as much as I wish I did, I do not have any princess dresses. Even though Aphiel is a rough and tumble type gal, she does not shy away from her femininity. So for this look, she is pulling out all the stops.
In this look, I feel very sweet. I've paired this romantic dress with one of my favorite blouses, and I think it dresses up Aphiel just that little bit more. I've also added my favorite cloak, and I really feel like this outfit is part of her story.
Finally, in this category is an outfit that I envision her wearing after a noble function has taken a turn and she has had to fight despite being dressed to the nines. Maybe her dress has gotten a bit tattered. You can tell that she was dressed very nicely. So for this look, I'm doing a more distressed Royalcore outfit.
In this look, I got creative with layering. I have a sparkly gold turtleneck with a sort of beat up powder blue dress. I've then given it a bit more shape by putting this gold embroidered bodice on top. I've also tucked in the dress to the bodice. Get a bit more practicality when trouble has broken out in the middle of this party.
Let me know what you thought of this lookbook. Which look was your favorite? Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons yourself? If so, I would love to know about your character, what their name is, their background. Like I said, it's been such a fun game. And I love it because it's like being a kid again. Dungeons & Dragons is great because it's a time where you and your friends set aside time to foster your imagination. It is so much fun, and I would love to know if you played along as well. Or if you're just here for the looks, that's fine too. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like it. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye! And as this is a fantasy world, oh no, here comes the rain. I love spring. Yay! So much of this take is going to be rain, waiting for the rain to stop so I can speak.